What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to a brand new episode of The Breakfast Club. For those of you new to the channel, don't know what The Breakfast Club is, it's a series on my channel which I superset between full day of eating vlogs, workout content, and mini Q&As where we eat, and lately have been making breakfast. We have made French toast pancakes, we made some ice cream, some wraps. Today we are making one of my favorite snacks of all time, an easy way to get in salmon and healthy fats if you don't like salmon. Personally wasn't a fan until now. We also call The Breakfast Club where we sit, eat breakfast, and I answer questions left in the comment section down below, or DM to me on Instagram at Joseph_Garcia17. So make sure you follow me there. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're chasing 1,000 subscribers at the end of the year, and I would greatly appreciate it. And without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so these are some open-faced rice cake salmon sandwiches. What you will need personally for the actual sauce on the rice cake, I like some light or fat-free mayo, some sriracha as a sauce. For the bottom part of the sandwich, I like using rice cakes. My favorite is tomato basil, but you can also use plain as well. I like to incorporate other vegetables, so I chopped up a red bell pepper. That's what we have here that will go on the sandwich as well. For my choice of salmon, I like the salmon lox. I like the sliced, ready to go salmon. This right here is from Sam's Club. I just buy the big old bag, and I'll basically eat half a pack a day. And to enclose the actual sandwich, what we have here is some romaine lettuce. So first things first, you have to lay down the rice cakes. I'm gonna have 4 sandwiches, so we have 4 different rice cakes. And what I like to do first is lay down the sauce. So I like doing a mayo and sriracha combination. If you have something of a weight loss goal, make sure you are measuring your things out. This right here is 35 calories per 1 tablespoon or 15 grams. I just kind of put a little bit on each rice cake. It's the off season for me. I'm not really worried about measuring anything. I'm just focused on eating lower calorie dense foods and making sure that I'm staying relatively lean. Next, I'm going to just drizzle on some sriracha as well. Next, I'm going to start laying down the salmon on top of the actual rice cakes and the sauce. Half a pack of this is relatively around 200 calories worth of salmon. I personally like eating salmon and try and eat salmon every day. It's a great way to get into healthy fats. The way I eat is a little more advantageous how like Greg Doucette eats. It's not really fat dominant because fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient, so we focus on eating low calorie dense foods. Including salmon daily allows me to get in healthy fats basically. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and put my bell pepper on top of the actual salmon. You can use any vegetable that you like. I use cucumbers. I've used onions. Personally, my favorite vegetable to top this off before enclosing it is a bell pepper. And then last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and close this off with some romaine lettuce on top of the actual rice cakes. And then bada bing, bada boom, open face rice cake sandwiches. And pretty much there you go. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Alrighty, so this is pretty much what the open face sandwich looks like. We have the rice cake with the salmon, sauce, bell pepper, and lettuce. So this right here is one of my favorite snacks of all time. Shout out to Greg Doucette. Saw this on his channel. Saw this from the cookbook, modified it, put my favorite rice cake in there, put my favorite vegetable in there, all that good stuff. Personally, I'm a pretty big sushi connoisseur, and this kind of fixes that sushi craving of mine. If I go to sushi, I mean, there's just endless amounts of calories that are going down. This keeps it under control. How many of you guys are sushi lovers? Kind of curious. Leave them in the comments down below. A little bit of a last bite, best bite situation going on right here. Alrighty, so let's get right into this question. So this question was DM'd to me on Instagram. It says, hey man, big fan of the channel. Was wondering if I could ask a somewhat stupid question. So, daily calorie intake, I've seen arguments / debates on whether to count just the end number of calories or compared to calculating the calories via macros. Example, just watched a clip of yours and had me thinking you consumed 147 grams of carbs, 277 grams of protein, and 63 fat, which comes out to roughly 2,270 calories. But FitnessPal said it was 2,870 calories. What is the best way to keep track, in your opinion? Macro calculating the calories or going by the label numbers added up? I'm pretty sure in the clip that he's talking about, I think I consumed 247 grams of carbs, not 147 grams of carbs, because 2,270 calories versus 2,870 calories is a pretty big difference. But I know what he's talking about. Basically, in the clip that he's talking about, when I tracked on my FitnessPal, if you did the math on the actual calories versus what MyFitnessPal actually reported, the calories, if you calculated them, were a lot higher than what was reported on MyFitnessPal. And the reason why is because the fiber and the carbs cancel out. So MyFitnessPal reported the net carbs versus if you calculate the total carbs of everything, then the calories would have actually been a lot higher. And so basically what he's asking is, should you count your calories based off of your macros like protein, carbs, and fats, or should you count your calories based on the overall label? So here's some pros and cons to counting both of them. If you did just macros and you didn't count your fiber in there, then calories wise, you wouldn't be able to eat as much calories, because if you just did straight protein, carbs, and fats, and you did your total carbs, your calories would add up very, very quickly, versus if you had like, 247 grams of carbs, but you consume like 50 grams of fiber with that on a daily basis, then you're able to eat just more volume of food because you'd be going off of net carbs. Here's the issue too if you just count the overall labels. I'll show you an example. This right here is a Joseph Lavash bread, right? Per half flatbread is 60 calories. For the entire thing, reported on the label is 120 calories. Now here's the issue if you just did the actual label. Labels do lie. And so if you actually took the weight of this lavish bread, the calories on it aren't 120, they're more like 150 to 160 calories, because the actual weight of the bread is more than what's reported on the label. So there are some pros and cons to both of them, and there are just inaccuracies to counting calories in general. Now I do realize that it can be a bit confusing on what to do. Should you count your calories? Should you count your macros? Should you go off your macros to count your calories? Here's personally what I do. However you choose to kind of count your calories and count your macros, I would just recommend sticking to one thing and being consistent with that. So if you just do overall macros, protein, carbs, and fats, and you added those up to make your overall caloric intake, or if you do what I did and just use MyFitnessPal, scanned everything, weighed everything out, and just went off of that number, you might get two different numbers even if you ate the same exact foods on a daily basis, because one might count the net carbs and one might count total carbs, for example. Recommendation is to pick one of those methods and stick with it. The consistency of you using one thing all the time will allow you to basically make adjustments off of your consistency. From there, you kind of find some sort of rhythm of what adjustments you need to make. Can you be 100% accurate when counting your overall calories? The answer is no. Everyone's off in some way, shape, or form. There's just certain things that are so minuscule and minute that you are intaking on a daily basis that you don't necessarily track, or just is so hard to track. That consistency, even if it is inconsistent, will allow you to make proper adjustments to get you on the right track. When I track my calories from my overall show, were the calories I was tracking 100% accurate? More than likely, no. There are some cases where I didn't weigh out like romaine lettuce if I put it on a wrap because it was just so little of it. But the romaine lettuce that I did put on my wrap actually had calories in it. My calorie count every day on some way, shape, or form was off. Even the guar gum that I would put in the ice cream shake was off in some way, shape, or form. Recommendation: pick one style of tracking and stick with it enough to make adjustments. I hope that answered your question in some way, shape, or form. If you guys have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section down below, or DM me on Instagram at Joseph_Garcia17. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you guys are new. It's been your boy Joe. Peace.